Hey guys, it's Bob with JohnyTechReview and I hope you guys are all doing well. So I've been reviewing and using a lot of different mechanical keyboard. Actually, this is one of my favorite. This is a very old, I believe this is a Quick-Fire Rabbit, a really old keyboard from Cooler Master. I bought this probably, I don't know, a decade ago, very long, one of my first keyboard. I always ended up gravitating toward this keyboard at the end of the day. I just like the way it feels, and this keyboard I changed out the keycap here in the middle to be yellow and I really like it. So this has been my kind of like primary keyboard I use for work. Have a lot of other kind of keyboard I play with. But recently a company called Whatgeek reached out to me and say, hey, you want to check out some of our keyboard that we have on our store? And I was like, sure, let me take a look at them. I haven't done a keyboard review in a while. So they give me a few different options, and I ended up picking this keyboard here called the Feker Alice Ergonomic Gasket Keyboard. And as you can see here, this model here is called the Alex 80. And what makes this keyboard special, here's some of the features. It can be 2.4 wireless, has gasket, I don't know what that means, we're gonna find out here in a minute. RGB lighting, hot swappable function, 8000 milliamp hour battery, 75% mechanical keyboard, Bluetooth, and Type-C for the connector. Very cool. Shipped from China, took about 2 weeks to get here. And what really stick out about this keyboard for me is it has a little knob here that you can use for function and hopefully control volume and other thing. I don't know, we're gonna try it out. So I'm gonna give you this a test and see how it works. I'm gonna unbox it to show it to you guys. Look here. So the packaging got a little bit of damage in shipping, but everything seems to be fine. So we should be good. Take a look. Oh, very nice. This is like an ergonomic keyboard. You know, I think it was Microsoft who used to make those natural style keyboard. Not a lot of company make them right now. There was this version and then there's a normal version. I decided to pick this version to see what's up. So it's a split setup, as you can see right here. I'll pull it out here. Oh, it feels very hefty and very nice. At the bottom there's a user manual. So we'll take a look at that, and this little accessory box, I am assuming this is the cable and other thing like that. So let's take a look. Oh, there's a coil cable. Coil, USB-C cable. And then inside we got a keycap puller and also a switch puller. So come with both of those. So let's take a look at the keyboard. Here is the keyboard. Very nice. Always hear that? Very soft. So this is perfect for work. That one is pretty loud. And very hefty, I would say. I don't know how many pounds this is. Feel pretty heavy. Has the 8000 milliamp battery in it. In the back here you have Windows, Mac switch. You have on and off. You have USB-C, and then you have a little look like USB dongle right here. So that's pretty cool. All right, so I'm gonna take a look at it, use it for a while, let you guys know how it works, and I'll report back. Hey guys, so I've been using this Feker Alex keyboard for the past 2 weeks or so for work. I have my work setup behind me here. Currently the laptop is off, and I actually have it plugged into my iPad via this USB-C dongle. So this is my experience of using it for work. For work, I typically have the rapid fire keyboard that I use for the past year or so. I switched to this keyboard, and in particularly I was using this as wireless. For Bluetooth mode, you can actually connect to 3 separate devices. You have to switch between them, but basically in Bluetooth mode you will need to be plugged in, obviously. You plug it in to charge it, and when you unplug it, you can there's a button in the back here that you will switch to Bluetooth mode, and then you can just connect to your device. I'm using a Windows machine here, connect to it, it works fine. Couldn't really detect any lag, you know, Bluetooth is pretty good these days. And in my experience of using it for about 8-9 hour days, you know, typical work day, in about 2 weeks, the battery dropped to about 68-70%. So that kind of gives you an idea. I fully charged it first to 100%. So that gives you an idea of kind of battery life this would last. I would say, depends how heavy you use it, you could get a good month out of this device. The other usage of it, of course, is you can use it via the 2.4 GHz dongle, or you can use it using the cable, just plug it straight in. And that's what I'm doing right now with my iPad. So to use it in the regular wire mode, you will switch it to the wire mode by plugging it in, and then just turn the Bluetooth off, the keyboard off basically. And then you switch function N to get you into kind of like the wire mode. The Bluetooth is function B, and then for the dongle you just use function G. So it's just different function key. They have a little user manual in English and Chinese, and it has all the information there, and it kind of mapped out all the different keys. The dongle actually is not my use case. I don't use that much because for the most part all of our devices now are Bluetooth. So even the iPad is Bluetooth, but I just decided to plug it in for just demonstration purpose. Anyway, that's kind of like the connectivity and the battery mode. So let's talk a little bit about some of the experience that I have. Relating to the way this keyboard feels, the actuation force on it is kind of heavy. You have to, it's not accidentally pressing of it. You will have to push on it a little bit, with some force for it to register, but it registers about midway. So as soon as you press it, you're gonna get that actuation and you're gonna get that, that register of the key. From my experience, typing on it is really amazing. I'm gonna give you guys a little demonstration of how it felt. It feels like forceful, but like a little bit soft. Like it's not mushy, but it's soft. So I would say it's comparable to like my brown switch, except a little bit heavier. And by the way, this is the Gatoron G Pro switch. I found that out. They say it's a Gasky keyboard, but it's the Gatoron G Pro switch. As you can see, very quiet, very soft. I really like typing on this keyboard. Now, it's been such a long time since I used a keyboard that is a ergonomic split way. The last time I used this was probably a decade ago or something like that with the Microsoft Natural keyboard, I think. And this keyboard, in my experience, is actually, at first it took me about, say, a day or two to get used to it, because my problem was my typing is not perfect, and I typically use my left finger, index finger, to reach the Y. And on this keyboard split, the Y is on the right side. And then there's I didn't know this, but in the ergonomic keyboard community, there's a lot of debate for either productivity or gaming purposes, that the B at the bottom row here should be on the left or on the right. It sounds like a lot of typists like it to be on the right, but a lot of gamer and other people who use that B key a lot like it on the left, where ASWF, whatever. So the way that they solved this, and I thought it was a mistake on this keyboard, but I Google and figure out the reason behind it. Turned out people like, they're kind of split on that thought. So what this company did is they put the B on both sides of the keyboard. So if you look at the keyboard, there's a duplicate B on both sides. That's the only key that's duplicate on both sides. Besides shift and control, of course, right? Anyway, that's interesting, but I think it's a very good implementation. Now let's talk about some of the things that I don't like and prefer differently. First of all, on this keyboard it's pretty large, but what I don't like the fact of it is, you could have add an extra, I don't know, an inch or so to add the function key. I think not having the function row key is a big down for, I don't know, productivity people. I think for work I use it sometime, but like F2 to rename, etc., and F3 to search, that kind of thing. But really for people who play games, this kind of prove it to be a challenge, because you can't really get to that function key quickly. You have to hold that function and press one other number to kind of activate function key. The other part of it is there's two missing key for the typical home delete. You have delete, page up and page down. You don't have print screen, and you don't have insert and home. Those are the keys that I use in work a lot. And I feel like those two keys are missing. You have to do like function H and function I to kind of insert and those kind of thing, and function P for print screen, which is something I use all the time. So that's, to me, that's kind of, it's not a deal breaker, but it's kind of like, want me go back to the old keyboard. The only reason I don't want to go back to my old keyboard right now is the typing experience on it is so good. I really like the way my key naturally land, my hand naturally lands, and I feel like, this is kind of helping me a little bit. I don't know if that's a placebo or what, but I definitely feel cramped when I go back to my regular, setup keyboard. So that would be my thought on this keyboard setup. One last side effect of this is, I think I mentioned earlier, the keys are pretty soft, so it's not very loud. This is great for both gaming. Most people who use game, they usually use headset, which is not really a problem. I use a mic, a Yeti mic, so sometimes that picks something up. In my setup now, I use NVIDIA noise reducer, so that's not a problem anymore. But if you don't have any of that, the keyboard, typical regular blue keyboard, blue switch keyboard will come up. In this keyboard, it's very quiet, and definitely in my work experience, I use a pretty nice speakerphone setup. It's a Jabra setup here. It does a really good job of canceling and not picking up those noise. But in my blue switch, B will actually hear me, hitting the keyboard. In this switch, there is no such thing. And the only way that people would notice that is if you decide to just smash the keyboard or key very hard, which you don't have reason to because they engage pretty easily. Let's talk about lighting a little bit. Lighting mode is all built into the keyboard. There's no stopwatch control. You hold out a function key and you press delete and you cycle to a few different ones, and I will demonstrate that in the B-roll. You have like the wave, the reaction, you know, reactor mode. Generally, it's pretty bright. From this setup, it's a bottom lit. It's pretty set up from the key. It's bottom lit from the key set, so it looks pretty good. But in general, you know, do not have a lot of customization. If you're looking for like very specific macro or certain action, you're not going to get that from here. You're better off getting a Corsair keyboard or something like that. So something in mind to keep up with. One other last thing I want to mention is that there's a volume knob here that is also a play pause. You click on it to play and pause, and then you turn up and down for volume knob. Works really well in a productivity setup. So in you know, a call or something like that, I can turn the volume up and down my speaker very fast. Very nice. It does. That's the only purpose. You cannot have software and map it to other things. As far as I know, there's no software. Everything is built into the keyboard. Yeah, so I think that is my experience of using this keyboard overall for the price, around 120 or so. You know, for people who's really into custom keyboard. And by the way, you can take the key cap and also the switch off and replace it with something else. That's something I didn't really, I mean, it's not something I focus on, but for the custom building keyboard community, that's something they're interested in, and you can do that in this keyboard. $420 is really not a lot for that community. For a typical user, that might be hitting the limit of you know, of the price. But if you're looking for an ergonomic choice, there's not a lot out there, and this is a really good choice. If you can live with the downfall of not having the function key, the dedicated insertion home key. The other aspect of it is you can also add a, I use here the Glorious Gaming, what you call armrest. You can get a package that comes with a wooden armrest that curved this, and it looked really nice. I'll show a picture of it here. That package is about $180, perhaps you can get it on sale. So it's about another additional, you know, $50–60 for that wooden, what you call handrest. So it's about another $50–60 for that wooden armrest, which is really nice. I think price is, you know, comparable, I guess, for it. So all in, you know, you could be looking at between 120, maybe on sale 100, something like that, all the way up to about 180, maybe on sale a little bit less than that. Again, I'll put the link in the description down below if you guys are interested in that. Again, I appreciate Geek for sending me this keyboard out for me to take a look at it. They didn't sponsor anything, they just want me to check it out, and I decided to just take a look at it and give you guys my thoughts. If you think this video is helpful, please give me a like and a thumb up and subscribe for more future content. I also put the link on the comment box down below if you guys are interested in taking a look at them. I appreciate it. Thanks and have a good one.